Hi there, Kayanne here, and it's been a while since we did a magazine harvest together. So I have some magazines here that, are kind of in waiting. Some of them I have pulled stuff out of already, but I think today I'm going to focus on these two, a fashion magazine, well, I guess the Bazaar magazine. I also have a National Geographic waiting, an Elle magazine, and what's the name of the other one? It's another fashion magazine. Couture? Um, oh no, Culture. And it's got a lot of kind of artsy fashion things. The thing I really like about that magazine, it's a little oversized and the pages are very matte, which really are nice to work with, and mixed media collage. But I'm starting here with the fashion magazine and just cutting out pieces. And everyone's going to have something different they're looking for when they do this. And so I am looking for patterns and colors mainly. My goal when I end up using these is that no one would know where, the piece came from, or it would not be a recognizable thing. So it just is more interesting than using like a solid colored paper. And that's what I'm after, just interesting collage papers. Every once in a while I will use an image like in my, daily journal or something like that. And every once in a while I will cut out a word to use as that word. But most of the time I'm just looking for pattern, shapes, colors. So this cement wall background here is wonderful texture and just something that I really like to use, things like that. So if I need something of this color, this is so much more interesting than anything that I could like paint or make my own papers. So it just adds an interesting variety. Sometimes, like this page, it's got a beautiful oranges on one side and these reds on the other side, and I'm not sure which I'm going to need. So sometimes I save the entire page to be determined later. So that's what's happening with that one set aside over there. And I'm making several different piles here, which you can't see because it's off camera, but I have the pieces that I'm cutting, I'm kind of sorting into neutrals, black and whites, and then just like colors. Also, I have some of the figures I am like that are left over after I cut out what I want, and I don't usually use the figures in the collage. I sometimes will use their clothing or something like that. Like here, I'm cutting out her skirt, has some interesting pattern and design that I think is usable in it. So I'm cutting out a section of that. But most often I don't really use the figures themselves, but I do put them in a stack to the side and save them. There's occasionally some project we do in a workshop or, whatever, where we do actually need some collage figures. So I will save those to the side. I'm mixing in, you see when there's like a big headline, I am like, I'll cut the title in half so that it's not really legible. You can't tell what word it is, but you still get the feel of a word. And I really like that graphic quality. This little film strip thing I am cutting as an image that I could use in my daily journaling. I thought that a little film strip would be handy because I could use that like when I was editing for a day or something like that. I was really tempted by those little ballerinas, but decided I didn't really have a use for those. This is a rare circumstances where I'm going to save this face because I really like how it's cropped and how like just the contrast of value in it. And so that is something I find inspiring. So sometimes I just keep things or stick them in my sketchbook or whatever, just simply because they inspire me. These, I really look for really graphic, like black and white type images. I really value those when I do collage. I like the contrast that they give in a piece, and they can be kind of hard to find just in other sources. So that is one thing I enjoy finding in magazine pieces. There, I just went ahead and cut the words in half so that I would, use them, look at them as a patterned collage paper, and not as, whatever it is that it says. So I kind of want to trigger a certain feeling or look at them, when I go sort through these to use them. I'm giving myself a kind of a head start by not making it obvious that, oh, this is a woman's dress or whatever. So if I'm cropping them down enough to start with, then I just look at them as the patterned paper that they are. Some colors are harder to find than others, like yellow is seems to be kind of a rare color, so I always try to grab the yellow when I come across it. And I also really like this kind of robin's egg blue or whatever, so I'll keep a patch of that too. Some of these will be used to try out ideas in my sketchbook, and maybe even just get stuck in with a glue stick or whatever, and then others will be in full-fledged pieces of art. I usually use matte gel medium to adhere them as a glue to fix them, and then I also use that as to seal over the top of them as well. I acquire my magazines in a variety of ways. Some of these fashion magazines are surprisingly cheap to subscribe to. If you watch for deals, you can, get them for like a subscription for like $5 a year of magazines, and that gives you a lot of collage material, and it's very convenient because it comes right to your door. But I also get magazines from thrift stores or watch for them at library book sales. Often libraries will have an area where they have things they're getting rid of, and they'll get rid of their old magazines. A lot of places you can get free. Just ask friends and neighbors if you can have their old magazines when they're done with them. So lots of options there. It need not be an expensive material. It's probably one of the cheapest ways, actually, to come up with collage paper. It can take a little while to get the hang of seeing beyond what the image actually currently is, to be able to see it just as patterns and colors and textures, and see the potential that it can have for being in a piece of art. So, just start doing it, and as you start using the pieces you cut, you'll get a better feel for what works for you and what you actually want to use in your own art practice. I use my collage papers in a lot of different ways. I use them to cut shapes out of. I use them to do what I call painting with paper, where I tear little dabs of paper in various colors and values, and apply just like you would dabs of paint. And then I also use them along with paint to create interesting backgrounds to work on top of. So there's lots of different things I do with these pages, and lots of different ways I use them. So there's a wide variety of things that I can make use of. So not a whole lot actually goes to waste. You see me tearing out just about every page to make use of in one way or another. Now I'm diving into that Cultured magazine, and finished up the other, and these are just lovely. Like I said, the paper is very matte, which is very nice to work with, and they're large size pages. I can't even quite fit it all in the camera frame here, and so that gives me bigger pieces to work with. There was several in here that were like whole page, beautiful color, and it being so matte, I will almost use it like a background, a starting place, and work on top of. So that is one advantage of this matte paper. So I also feel like the images in here are very artistic. I absolutely love this red patterned dress with the geometric patterns in it. I can imagine that being part of a landscape or a still life or all kinds of things. So I'm excited to see how I end up using that. And so I'm kind of making use of every little bit of that page. Some of the black paper, there's a lot of black in this magazine too, which is very nice to have. I always like some good black paper. Like this paper is, you know, kind of a black background, but it's so textured and so much variety. The other side had these really graphic yellow dressed dancers on the blue background, and I can see that being really useful too. So some of these I don't necessarily know which side I'll be using. I'm flipping it back and forth as I make my best guess as I cut each piece. I do stack them with the side that I think I'm going to use facing up, like all the same direction. So that's what I will most likely reach for as I'm sorting through these. But you know, if I'm really desperately looking for a color, I do start flipping over to see what the other side has. Sometimes it helps to kind of squint a little bit at a page, like a picture like this, you know, to see beyond the purse, to see just the overall effect and feel of the colors and textures and patterns and relationships in the page. I try really hard to not deliberate too long and just go with my first impulse of what's going to be useful, and not, I can get too carried away while thinking about, well, what if I could use this, and how could I use, you know, this little portion, and that can just totally stall me from cutting, because I worry about, like, what if I cut it wrong? What if I keep the wrong part? I try not to think too much about that, because better for me to actually get this done and have these pieces ready to use than have my magazine sitting there unused because I couldn't decide how I wanted to use an image. So the ones that I truly like, I'm not sure which side I'm going to use, go in a stack of their own, and I consider those just like sheets of collage paper. And some of those may even be used as background bits. I love the color in these dresses, and hopefully by the time I have them in a piece, you will have no idea that they were dresses. But the color and the texture, I think, will be lovely. Now, there is a camera on this ad, so again, this is one of the handful of times that I save an image to use, like in a journal or something like that. Mostly I'm after bits for making artwork, though. Even as I go watch this to do the voiceover, you know, I'm already like, oh, I would have, if I did that again, I would have chose something different. But, you know, that's just how it is. On a different day, I would make different choices. But the reality is that the papers that I gleaned today are going to be lovely and very handy and very useful. So I just try not to think too much about it. So as I continue through this magazine, I'm just going to put on some music so you can follow along, and I'll just pop back in with you in a little bit. I find this whole process super inspiring. I'm just like literally itching to dive into my sketchbook or a piece of art or something and start gluing some of these pieces down and playing around with them. So be watching for what I do with these pieces at the end of the video. I have lots of ideas going as I look at the pieces, a lot of things that are inspiring and stimulating some ideas. I always feel invigorated when I do this and just love having, even though I actually have quite a few paper scraps in waiting, I just always feel excited by adding some fresh new ones to them. As I'm cutting, I'm thinking of all the ways that I could use each of these little pieces that I'm saving. So I do find it a very inspiring process. So if you suffer some creative block, this might be something that could be helpful for you as well. So I've sorted my papers into these little stacks. I have black and whites here. These really excite me. I like the words that are cut. I like all the different textures and patterns that are in here. So that's a mainly black and white stack. I have the stack that's my more colorful bits, so blues and reds and pinks and just all the colors that I found in that. I especially love this this red piece with the geometric print fabric that's kind of folded. I could see that being a great landscape or all kinds of things. It'll be fun to see what that ends up being. And then I have this, I call it kind of a neutrals pack. It's got some like kind of burnt orange and a cream colored and those types of colors in it. And I am also really looking forward to using those. As expected, I couldn't wait to use my new little scraps that I cut from the magazines. I have them stored in these little plastic envelopes by neutral and black and white and assorted colors, and these are just proved a great way to store collage papers. Sometimes I put a label on them, but I sat down with those and did just some quick little playground collage pieces. I have the sketchbook that's almost done. You'll be getting a flip through of the whole thing here soon, but I just thought I'd show you real quick just these quick little pieces that I did. So this was a painted background, but then I have the little flower pot and flowers cut out. I have this one, which was just kind of a fun little experimental work, kind of abstract, and it is entirely collage. And this one, that those flowers that I had in the vase, this is the little strip, what's left over, and I love it when you get 2 for 1 from what you cut out of your collage bits. I have this one that's just kind of like an abstract piece. I loved this type. I can't even read it. I don't remember what it said, but it was like a headline for an article, and I love that as a patterned background. And so just kind of playing with how to do collages that are a little bit more abstract feeling. And then this one, this is where some paint bled through, but I just like the black and white, the really graphic look of it, kind of very modern looking still life. So that's what I've done so far. I'm sure you'll be seeing some more in the future of that, but thanks again for watching, and I'll see you next time.